Welcome to the Jay Tyner Show, where we discuss all things wealth management and retirement planning. And as always, the goal of our team here at Semmax Financial Group is to help you focus more on your life and less on your money. Now, as a reminder, check with your current advisor, planner, CPA, and read our disclosure in the video description below. Subscribe to this channel if you want to stay up to date on all of our new content. And by the way, if you have questions or need a 15-minute free consultation, please visit semmax.com or call 336-856-0080.
Hello and welcome. My name is Matt Landon. I'm joined by Jordan Shinsky. And today we are talking about how to manage some of that holiday spending in retirement. Now here's something that I think is a wonderful time of year. I love the holidays. I'm sure you do as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you more of a Christmas, Thanksgiving guy?
Yeah, Christmas is my favorite time of year.
Same. Yeah. Now, I've got a sweet tooth, and so Thanksgiving holds a very special place in my heart. Anytime you have one meal and 4 pies, couldn't be better. But that said, there's some not-so-sweet things about holidays as well. Oftentimes, we get blinded by all of the glitz and the lights and the Christmas ideals. And I think it's important to take a step and make sure you have some set guidelines. And so that's what we want to do today, is provide you with some of those guidelines. Now, number one is to rethink your budget. I think it's important to look at your budget and really evaluate how much am I spending, what's a reasonable amount, what's not a reasonable amount in retirement. For some of us, that may mean cutting back just slightly on what we give. You may have had a set budget when you had that first grandchild. Well, when you have 9 grandkids, it's not quite the same. You may not be able to spend quite as much as you wanted to or you were in the past per child, something to consider. But you may also be looking at your budget and realize you have more of a surplus than you thought. So don't think about when you hear someone say, rethink your budget, don't immediately go to the negative saying you got to cut costs. You may realize you could be a little bit more charitably inclined and be more of a gift giver than you thought you would have been able to at this point in the year. But that's number one. What's number two?
It's sort of in relation to that. It's about setting a budget. Okay, identifying limits for what you want to spend on gifts. It's so easy nowadays. We get caught up in Black Friday sales. We get advertisements on social media all the time. You can go on Amazon and just purchase away, right? Mm-hmm. So set a limit. It's easy when you have 2 kids at home and you can spend a little more, but when you're up in retirement and, as you had mentioned, 9 grandkids or 10 grandkids, now all of a sudden I can't spend $250 or $300 a kid. So set a budget. Don't just rethink your budget, big picture, but now set a budget which you can reasonably spend within the holiday season, and then keep reevaluating it. Yep. Okay, check it. Make sure that you didn't go over. You got to hold yourself to it.
And I think this is one of those things where you might want to just keep a clicker going saying, how many times did they say evaluate? Because you also want to evaluate those holiday meals, right? And when I say those holiday meals, it may mean everyone comes into town for the weekend, you're hosting, they come over to your house, you order pizza for the whole family. Well, next day, we're doing a big Thanksgiving meal, you bought all of the groceries. We're doing a Christmas meal, we're doing the Christmas ham, we're doing all the accoutrements, you got 18 family members, and you bought drinks and food and supplies for everyone throughout the whole weekend, right? Mm-hmm. So that's something where you may want to evaluate that and say, this is an excellent time to share the love and allow others who are coming in to maybe provide some of the sides. Maybe you supply the ham or the turkey, but someone else can bring in those mashed potatoes and someone else can bring the gifts or the drinks or things of that nature. But I think evaluating those holiday meals is something that you might find you're spending quite a bit more than you thought you were.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what's next?
Shift your travel funds.
Okay.
And this is one that, depending on, it really falls into the flavor of what you do every holiday, right? I'm pretty fortunate that my family's local. Okay, we go to my brother's place for Thanksgiving, my parents' house for Christmas Eve, and my house for Christmas. But what happens if you got to jump on a plane and fly across the country for the holidays? That in and of itself can be quite costly.
It can.
If you have to travel for the holidays, be efficient about it. Don't jump on an airline website 2 weeks before you go and say, I got to book a flight. Shop it out months prior to. If you find yourself out of your budget to spend on flying, sometimes you may have to drive. It is cheaper to drive in most cases. Maybe you have to change your travel habits to save some money. But if you don't end up, so let's say an example like 2020, when COVID kicked off, right? A lot of plans were canceled that year.
Right.
Well, what do you do with that? Okay. re-strategize with that money, whether you push it ahead to the next year, whether you take it as a refund and have cash available, or have credits available for your next flight purchase. Be strategic about how you reuse that refunded or replaced money.
Yeah, and then also look for ways to save. There's a number of things that you can do with your family that can get incredibly expensive, or there's a lot of free things you can do that can be a lot of fun. I tell you what, some of the best times I have and some of the best memories I have with my grandparents before they passed away was not the expensive trips or anything like that. It was actually drinking hot cocoa, sitting at the table, playing gin rummy with my grandfather.
Yep.
It cost no more than a deck of cards. And I'm pretty sure he got those for free from a casino at some point in his past. But those were the best holiday memories I had. It's not, I mean, you can take the whole family to Biltmore. You can do these kind of expensive things, but you may not need to. And you really want to think through where am I spending my money and where am I spending my time? I think that's key. Now, along with that, saying where am I spending this, what do we got?
Oh, it's a big one. Credit cards.
That's right.
Okay, so monitor your credit card charges. And there's a couple reasons for this. First and foremost, for someone like myself, I have one credit card. I put as much as I can on that credit card that I spend because I use that reporting for my budget. I look at it and say, all right, I'm 2 weeks through the month. Here's how much I spent. I'm on track. I'm beyond track. I'm past my budget already, or whatever the case may be. Holidays are no different. Where it gets people in trouble is when you have a Lowe's credit card and I'm going to go buy a circular saw for my dad. I have a Macy's credit card. I'm going to go purchase earrings for my wife. I have a Toys R Us credit card. I'm going to buy Legos for the kids.
Do they still have Toys R Us credit cards?
I don't think they do. But
know.
Man, when I was a kid, I loved Toys R Us.
It would have been fantastic.
So you have to keep track of those, okay? Because it's easy when it's distributed out for you to get beyond what your budget is or where you're comfortable, and then find yourself the next 11 months trying to catch back up again. On the flip side to it, the other part of monitoring your credit cards is this is a perfect time of the year for credit card fraud.
It is.
So you really have to pay attention to your charges to say, wait a minute, this is interesting. I didn't buy this. Where did this charge come from? And when you see it, report it to your bank. They are, most of the time, they'll be very proactive. If you have to report it to the authorities, contact the retailer, whatever you have to do, but be proactive in making sure you're going through that list of spend and saying, I did this, wait a minute, what is this?
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree. And then lastly, you want to take advantage of extra sales. You mentioned credit cards. Oftentimes we have those credit card points that go completely unused. Also, you can find Black Friday sales. You can find a lot of sales that go on throughout the whole holiday season. I think it's important to look at that and realize, hey, I may be able to capitalize on an opportunity here for something not just for the holiday season, but throughout. It may be something that you don't need immediately, but you will into the future. Something that I love is I'm a big Costco fan. And right now you can go to Costco, you can get $100 gift cards for honey baked ham for $79. Well, that's amazing. That's $20 free in your pocket. Now, I may not be using that honey baked ham right now, but Easter's around the corner and it doesn't have an expiration date. So when you're thinking about those sales, some of those sales apply to the immediate. When we're thinking about the holiday season, some of those sales can be utilized moving into the future. So I think it's important to keep an eye on that. And then also with those credit card points, so many people let them expire and never use them. If you're using that card for a reason and you're accumulating those points, transfer them into airline miles, transfer them into cash back, transfer them into something that you're going to utilize that's your money. Make sure you're maximizing it. That said, on behalf of Jordan, myself, and all the Semmax staff, thank you so much for watching. We hope you have a wonderful day. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.